DearPiggy's JavaScript tutorials. So in this video, it's going to be a continuation of the previous video, which is talking about arrays. But this time, we're going to be actually doing some fun and cool stuff with it. So we're going to be working with array methods. Now, we're going to work on 4. The first 3 are pretty easy. We should get those pretty fast. The last one is a simple topic, but we're going to kind of change it up a little bit and use an on-click event with that. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one is, in my opinion, kind of like a warm-up. Not exactly the most useful array property I've ever seen. It's the toString method. And so basically this is going to change our array into a string. So kind of like the name, it's going to take all the values, all the elements in our array here, and it's going to change it into a string with all these same elements, but separated with a comma. So let's go ahead and do that. Alrighty. Go to Replit. Again, you'll see why I think this isn't as useful in a second, because when you print it to your web page there, everything looks the exact same. However, the main point is that the data type has changed. So that's really important because data types are things really important to the program that aren't exactly seen on the screen, but behind the scenes, it's one of the big parts. So I understand if you're kind of asking at the end of this, what is the whole point? But this is kind of just changing the data type of our array here. So first things first is we are going to create an array. Now, let's go ahead and say var puppy food. And I don't have a puppy, so I don't exactly know what puppies like to eat, but I'm guessing here. I'm guessing they like to eat meat. And I'm guessing that they probably like to eat or chew on their toys, bones, and last but not least, fingers. That was really weird. Fingers. Let's get rid of fingers because I'm pretty sure they don't actually eat fingers, but sometimes they like to like nip your finger, very friendly sometimes. But meat, toys, bones, dog food. Quite obviously, they eat dog food. So can't spell today. Okay, so this is our array. Just like we created in the previous video, we used our brackets, we used our quotation marks, and we used commas to separate them. So first things first, let me go ahead and create an empty tag here where we have space to kind of print our our array onto our web page here. So go ahead and give it an ID, and this time I'm going to give my ID just called toString, because that's going to be the property that we're using. So go ahead, document.get element by ID, which ID we want the ID called toString, and set the inner HTML. I'm not going to say toString because I feel like that'd be a little bit confusing considering the fact that our method name is the exact same thing. So I'm just going to set it equal to string. And this time I'm going to say just change puppy food. So go ahead and take the array puppy food and change it into a string. As easy as that. So now if I run my code, you will notice that meat, toys, bones, dog, food. Now, in the previous video, we just printed out the array and it looked exactly like this, right? So this is, again, one of the reasons why I feel like most beginners will have a hard time understanding why this is such an important method. This on the web page does not look any different at all. However, in the program, this array no longer exists as an array. This array is now a string. So instead of brackets, it takes it as a string of letters instead. So the data type has changed. That's essentially what this property has done. Alrighty, moving on to the next one. Join. So join is very, very, very similar to toString, except instead of using a comma to separate these items, we can choose whatever we want to use. So for example, you'll notice here that when I did toString, it had to be separated by commas, and there was just no choice. But if I were to use join, then I can specify when I want them to be separated as. So still, I changed the ID name to join. I changed nothing else. I need to change this part to join as well. And now I'm going to say puppyfood.join. So when you do puppyfood.join, it is still going to turn it into a string. But the string now in this parentheses here, you can kind of choose what you want to separate it as. So what I've done here is I've kind of, let me run my code to show you first, but I've gotten rid of these commas and instead replaced it with these slashes, specifically a space slash space. So again, data type wise, this is still a string, except instead of dividing them with commas, I can divide them with whatever I would like. So yeah, another bonus here. So I would use join, honestly, more often than toString. Okay, so we've gotten that one down. Next one, we're breezing by these guys. We are going to use the pop method. So pop is going to get rid of the last item in our array. You can kind of manipulate this to do a couple of different things though. So let me go ahead and show that to you. So let me say PID pop and change this to pop as well. Now, if I said over here after my array, I did puppy. So here, let's do it this way. I'm going to print out the original and then I'm going to print out the popped version. So by doing that, I need to create another ID that's called demo for like the original demo. So then I'll say document.getElementById demo and just set the HTML to be puppy food. So the original non-changed, not been touched array. Then I'm going to do puppyfood.pop. So puppyfood.pop, and then I'm going to run and print out the array one more time. So basically what I've done here is I have printed out the original array onto the web page. Then I have popped it. I've gotten rid of the last value, and then I'm going to print out the array one more time. So you'll kind of see what changes here. Run your code, and this was our original array. We had meat, toys, bones, dog, food. Now we just have meat, toys, and bones. So as you can see, the last value has been popped off. It's been taken away. Another thing that I want to show you, this isn't used as often, but if you set, for example, if you set this to, let me get rid of this line. If you set something just to puppyfood.pop, it's going to actually give you the value of the item you're popping. So by that, when you run this, you'll realize that this gives me dog food. Again, this is just my original array, but when you just set it equal to puppyfood.pop, like as you write it, like in the code, then it's going to give you the value of the item you're popping. So instead of giving you the whole new array, it's going to give you dog food, which is the item that is about to get removed. So that is what this second part of pop does. It removes the item, well, it doesn't remove. It prints out the value of the item that you want to pop. Not exactly used that often, but just another way to play around with your array methods. Okay, so now we're on to our last finale, and this one is going to be slightly more challenging. Not hard, because I believe you guys can all handle it, but slightly more challenging. If you haven't been keeping up with these videos, I highly suggest you go and check out the video from lesson 3 that was about the on-click event, things like that, because that's basically what we're going to be working with over here. So basically, we're going to use the push method, and the push method is going to add a new element to an array at the end. So basically, it's going to stick a new item up at the end of the array. However, instead of doing this, normally we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a function. And what that function does is every time we click a button, it's going to add a new element onto the end of our array. So sounds pretty cool, right? The logic is actually extremely simple. So let's go ahead, and first I'm going to kind of get rid of everything here. I just want to start from scratch, but let me go ahead and we'll say var. This time let's do puppy names. I have plenty of those. I have been thinking about that for a long time. Again, create your empty array. My number 1 currently is Bonbon. I really like the name Bonbon, even though I feel like it's like a dessert name, but I think it's really cute. I also think, I just blanked on all the dog names that I had remembered. Let's see, let's just do some standard ones. Chocolate, I know, Chocolate has been one. My friend has a dog called Moose. Interesting name, but really cute. We have, let's see, let's stick with 3 for now, and then we can add more on. Okay, so now we have an array with 3 puppy names: Bonbon, Chocolate, and Moose. All right, so now all we're going to do is we're going to first start off, and we're going to print the original array all out onto the screen. So go ahead and create your empty p tag that we have a place to do it. And then I'm just going to set the ID to be the original, OG, the original. Okay, so then we can say document dot get element by ID OG and set it equal to just the original array, puppy names. So now if you run your code, you just get, I have an error here, aha. So get element by ID, I need to set the HTML to be puppy names. I can't just leave it like that. So Bonbon, Chocolate, and Moose. Now we just have our array out there. Perfect. Next, we're going to work on our function. So now over here, this is going to be slightly up another level. Again, if you don't understand it, go ahead and take a look at the on-click event video. It's going to help you out quite a bit. So let's create a function using the keyword function. We should give our function a name called add name, because it's going to add a name to our array, and everything in the function goes in these curly braces. So this is kind of the net for a function. This is kind of the structure. Now in our function, what do we want to do? We want to add in a new item to the end of our array, and then we're going to print out the new version out onto the screen. So to add on a new name, all we have to do is use the .push method. So we're going to say puppy names .push. So we're going to add in an item. What's another name, guys? I need another name. Let's call it Lucky. I know a dog is called Lucky before, and she was really cute. So we're going to push the name Lucky in here. So now we've now pushed another item into our array. Then we need to go ahead and print that out, right? We need to print out the array one more time. So again, another empty paragraph tag, and set the ID equal to new, because this is like our new array. So then we're going to say document dot get element by ID, which ID you want it to be the new ID, and set the HTML to be the array. But this time, since we've used the .push method, Lucky should be added to the end, right? So we've created our function. All it does is adds a name Lucky every time you run the function. Now we need to actually implement it, right? Because now when we run the code, everything's the exact same. This is where we're going to use some HTML here. Come to your body tag where the HTML is supposed to go, and let's go ahead and create a button. And this button is just going to say, click me. So now you'll see that when I run my code, there's a button that says click me. Obviously nothing happens when you click the button because we haven't told anything to happen. But we need to make sure that when the button gets clicked, the function, our function called add name, gets run. So what we do here is we're going to set an event. And what event is this? We use onClick. And what this means is it's saying when the button gets clicked, what should happen? Well, when the button gets clicked, we want to make sure that the function gets run. So we say add name and then add the 2 parentheses onto the end. So this is kind of coming together finally. We have our original array and we printed the original out onto the screen here. Then we have a button that says click me. Now this onClick event is saying that when this button gets clicked here, we're going to run the function called add name. Now what is the function add name? Add name is going to add an item to the end of our original array here and then print out the new updated array onto the screen. So click me. Whoops, nothing is happening. Let's go ahead here and see what I did wrong. That's rather sad when you think everything is going to work and then it just falls apart. So let's see what I did wrong here. On click my function, script, variable fruits, document.get element by ID, fruits.push. It looks like I'm doing everything right. So when it's that point of view, let's just go back and see if I spelled anything wrong. So puppy names.push lucky document dot get element by ID new inner HTML puppy names. We have an ID called new. We have a button. Now the key here is that the function isn't getting run. Alright guys, so I don't see anything wrong with my code, which brings us to another possibility, which is that Replit isn't working. So in that case, let's reload the page and see if it works. So let's reload this, make sure all our code is still there, that we wanted it to be there. Yep, now run the code one more time, click me. Wow, there we go, it's working. So it was actually a Replit problem. I couldn't tell because I don't have any feedback from y'all, but it must have been kind of stupid if it was working for you and I was looking for the mistakes here. But if you think that your code is working right and it's actually not showing up on the screen, reload your REPL and try it then. So now let me run it again just to show you guys. When we say click me, we have the new list and it says lucky. We have lucky over here. If we click it again, more lucky. So click, click, click. Every time you click it, a new item has been added to the end of the list, to the point where you can click this forever and you'll just have infinite number of names. So basically, over here what we did is .push lucky. This isn't saying that once you click it, it's going to just run once and finish. Every time you click it, it's going to add the name lucky onto the end of your array, right? So if you click it 3 times or 4 times, there's going to be 4 luckies at the end. So yeah, this shows that our code is indeed working. Again, to go over it one more time, basically we had an array and we printed the array out just to kind of compare. Then we created a button that said click me, and we said when the button gets clicked, we should run the function called add name. The add name function is going to push an item onto the end of the array and then print out the new updated version of the array. So yeah, that was our array methods video. So we went over 4. First they were pretty easy. Last one was a little bit more challenging, but I think you guys have got it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys in next week's video. Bye, guys.